Well, welcome to Wiang Tha Kan. I've come here this morning to follow this road up here, and this is the road that traces the western boundary of the old Wiang. Wiang means fortified, and therefore this would have been a raised embankment, and inside there is a moat, and all around the western side here, as well as on the south and on the north as it curves around the city, you can see the greenery on Google Maps because obviously the water source is there. And I'm going to go up to Wat Ubosot, which is up the far end there. I've never been there, I've never taken a look, so it'll be a surprise to me as it will be to you. So join me there. I'm stood currently here, and I've come through the west approach here, and I'm going to travel a little bit up the outer embankment moat area. I'm going to go up to, this is Wat Ubosot. Well, this is quite a nice look and feel, because what I'm seeing here is a raised embankment. I'm looking at old bricks here on the walkway through. And indeed there's something a bit like Oak Island, I think. Wonder what was buried in there. Maybe we should have Gary Drayton along. Anyway, I'm going to walk on through. So you can see the height of the embankment is quite high here compared to where I started the journey at the road, because obviously over time people have taken the soils away. Wow, look at this. All this dry bamboo is very, very brittle and like a tinder box. The bamboo calms, the stems of bamboo, they don't burn, but the leaves do. So it wouldn't take much to ignite what's on the floor here and just burn it. Wow. Well, here we see a relatively new building over the far side with this marvellous old chedi here. This stupa with a square brickwork surround at the back here, and then some votive offering positions to the side, and then we can see the main hall of the structure here, and I'm looking for something to tell me that this is an Ubosot, And that is an immediate indication, because I have a stone round about halfway down, halfway along the wall length. So now I'm looking for the other stones that would represent the Sema stones that are placed around the outside of an Ubosot, and maybe over time they've been moved, but today we can see just the one on that side. And this stonework is giving us the impression that it was a very fine building. Wow, 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 wow. Let's just walk over to the new one here, see what we can see here. And then I'm going to have a look at the brochure, or the translation of the brochure, as to what that tells us about this. I don't want to go in to the temple, but here we see the stones that are laid along the side there. That's interesting. They've got 3, 4 on this side, 5 on this side, 6 on this side, 1 at the far end, and then, yeah, well, that's interesting. I've never seen a 5-side, hang on, 2, 4, 6. Well, I've never seen a 6-sided Sema stone Ubosot before. Let's have a look what we've got over here. Oh, we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, look. Wow. Well, I've got to go around the back now and find out how many Sema stones are around the back. But to find 6 on each side is rather different. I've not seen that before. And look, it carries on around the back, look. So the 6 on the side, and then these 2 here. So all in all, there's 14 Sema stones here. Well, I'm blessed. 14. There doesn't look to be too much of a mix and match of old, small and new, larger stone. But it's really quite an impressive place, isn't it? I think you'll agree. I'm stunned by the magnificence of this. How beautiful. How beautiful is this? So as we come in, we can see there's a building to the side here, off to the right hand side, and then over here there's a base of, I would presume, another chedi. Yeah, wow. And that little depository, or shall I say repository, over in the bamboo forest there. Well, I'm going to refer to the brochure that is seen at the museum, and it says that Group 2 is located in the north of the city and is called Phra Ubosot Temple Group. Now, temple group means that there's more than one temple. Because in this area there is an old abandoned Ubosot, later the villagers demolished the old one and built a new one. There are mounds, archways and walls that can be seen in the intervals. It consists of a bell-shaped main stupa located behind the chapel facing east. There is a new chapel on the right. On the left is a rectangular base. Well, that's okay, on the right. So when you describe these things, you stand at the stupa and you say on the right. Okay. On the left is a rectangular base of the chapel located behind a small square stupa. The area around the temple is surrounded by a glass wall. Nope, there's not a glass wall. And there is a gate archway in front. This group of Ubosot temples is classified as Lana art, dating from around the 21st, 22nd Buddhist centuries. So that's about the 14th, 15th centuries AD. It says Wat Ubosot is the name given to the temple in the present day, as its actual name has not been found in any ancient records. Archaeological excavations at the site found the remains of an assembly hall, stupa, gateway and an open hall. The assembly hall is a Lana-style open hall. It has a multi-tiered receding roof with a double roof on each side, tiled with a flat clay tiles. Hang on a minute. How do they know that then? How did they know that? That didn't just disappear in the last 20 years. The stupa is round-shaped stupa, unique to the Lana style, with a square base and a multi-tiered, overturned torus moulding base, surmounted by a dome. Based on the art style and artefacts found during the excavation, it is assumed that this site was probably built around 500 to 600 years ago. Yeah, right. Okay, so there's the QR codes for us to go off and fly and have a look.
Wat Ubosot Wiang Tha Kan. Wat Ubosot is the name given to the temple in the present day, as its actual names have not been found.
So thanks again Department of Fine Arts for giving us this piece of information. I'm coming across here for a bit more information. This is much better. This is an update, by the look of it, of the information, or it's a different set of information to what we saw over there. Let's have a read of this one. Wow. So this is saying Wat Ubosot, an abandoned temple, was named by a former Ubosot hall at there. Right. This temple was excavated by the Fine Arts Department in 1988. Wow, earlier than I thought. Temple's buildings consist of a round-shaped stupa, the brick floor, the octagonal stupa base, the rectangular building were aligned to the east to the west. This building was presumed to be the monks' dwelling. In addition, the Fine Arts Department also found round-shaped pond in the north of the Vihara. Round-shaped pond in the north of Vihara. There were many discovered artifacts from the excavation, including parts of architecture and small sculptures such as baked clay Buddha votive tablets, pieces of bronze, silver and wood Buddha, Chinese earthenware and earthenwares from Sankampeng Kiln, San Sai Kiln and Wiang Kalong Kiln. This temple has been existed between the 17th to the 22nd century BE. Wow, that's a lot more information there, isn't it? And to the rear here, there's a wonderful Bodhi tree. And at many temples, one will find Bodhi trees because they are very respected trees. And you can always tell a Bodhi tree when you see the shape of the leaf, and it's in this heart shape like this. This Bodhi tree is looking slightly unhealthy, but I'm sure with the new season coming with the rains, it will brighten up no end. And it's where people bring their offerings, and you can see here there are many spirit houses around the back, many kam, the sticks that you prop up and give support to. Well, I'm really impressed with all I'm seeing so far. Not only the huge amount of brickwork and the layout of Wat Ubosot, which I didn't expect to see in such grandeur. I'm seeing along here, along the canal that goes around the boundary of the Wiang, the high earthen embankment here. I didn't expect to see such a height, such detail of it. As you can see, I've just walked down this embankment here. I've come down maybe 3, 4, 5 feet. And if I look across here, the embankment is about 7 feet high above the level that I am currently on. Isn't that amazing? Beautiful. So over on this side, I've got another temple. I'm going to pop over there and have a look. On the brochure that you can obtain from the museum, and also in the museum on the wall there, the plan of the old Wiang shows a number of sites, and this is number 9, and this is Wat Pa Pao is the present, oh no, not more of this, as it didn't have any historic. Archaeological excavations at this site discovered the remains of 2 monuments, each consisting of an assembly hall and stupa on the same platform. Other evidences include sherds of pottery produced from kilns in Lamphun, San Kampeng in Chiang Mai, and Wiang Tha Kan kilns in Chiang Rai, as well as Chinese wares of the Ming Dynasty period. The site was probably built around 500-600 years ago and underwent architectural modification around 400 to 500 years ago. This is much smaller than the previous site that we were at a short while ago, Wat Ubosot, across the way here. And you can see at the far end the return wall comes around and would have gone all the way along here, I'm sure. And what we're seeing is a Buddha statue base within a temple, a chedi, Buddha statue base or another chedi. So if it didn't have a pillared roof supports, it would have had a wall all the way around the outside holding up the roof. Pika. And here we can see the, I believe that's called Lana style, the rounded chamfered edge on the bricks here. But not a lot of detail on this one. This Wat Pa Pao isn't explained in the brochure. I can't find anything in the brochure about this particular temple, so I'll have to do some more looking up online as to whether there's any information about this, and maybe I can include that in the video. Here you can see what looks to be stucco around the outside, plaster around the outside, and you can hear the cicadas, the male cicadas calling out to the females, "I want sex, I need to give you a baby." Well, it almost looks like a wheelchair ramp, doesn't it? Wow, wow. What was this about? How amazing. So it's relatively small, isn't it? It's what's going on here? So you've got this and this. So I'm thinking that this is a Buddha statue base with a votive offering place. There's some square stones in the base over there, but there's no sign of any other base over here. So one wonders as to whether these have been put in new, because it says here 2543. Yeah, 2543. So these are all replacements. This is all on the top there. It's all quite new. But these in the middle haven't got any dates on them, so I don't know. Are they new or not? Wow. Wow. Wat Ton Pho temple was named from the big bol tree. That's the Bodhi tree, which had been grown in this area. Its name also refers to the law that King Meng Rai of Lana dynasty ordered his servants to grow the Bodhi tree from Lanka there. The Fine Arts Department excavated and restored this temple in 1988. Ton Pho temple consists of the rectangular base of stupa, the rectangular vihara, and 2 unknown buildings. The vihara turned to the east. Although the Fine Arts Department could find its wall trace, they still assumed that it was a hall which was surrounded by low walls. Next, the rectangular building number 1, which turned to the east, was surrounded by low walls. There were 2 laterite boundary markers in the east, so it's probably an Ubosot hall. The last one was a rectangular building, number 2, which turned to the north. The Fine Arts Department found many parts of architectures and sculptures artifacts which made of baked clay and metal, such as earthenwares, decorated stuccos, iron tools, bronze handles, bronze bells, clay Buddha statues, the base of the bronze Buddha statue. Most of the sculptures were Haripunchai and Lama style. Ton Pho temple had been existed between the 19th and the 22nd century, so that's the 12th to 15th centuries AD. So if we look to the left of the notice board here, we can see a long wall enclosing as a boundary to the vihara, and then a stupa base at the end, a round stupa, and in the background there is a huge Bodhi tree. How about that? Next to it is another huge Bodhi tree. Next to it is another huge Bodhi tree. How incredible. Wow, one of these came from Sri Lanka with those monks. This indeed is the final resting place of that story about the monks who went off to Sri Lanka and brought back the Bodhi tree saplings. All these leaves are Bodhi tree leaves. They have a history from Sri Lanka. Wow, King Mengrai, you would have been pleased with this. How about that? And off to the other side of the enclosure, the group of temples here, we can see something that is sagging in various areas, another structure beyond that, and at the far end a completely different orientation, going north-south rather than east-west. Well, with the main temple building over here, as I'm referring to it, as it's next to the Bodhi trees here, we've got this other south-facing amazing structure which has, it's the largest doorway I've ever seen. This wall is broken by this very narrow gap. Amazing. And I'm into one side of a hall. And there would have been something over here, maybe places for paying respects to something. There's not another stairway down. It's really strange. Look at this straight line here. This is so weird. I've never seen a building like this before. How different and unusual this is. All these different levels and surfaces. Huh. How amazing is this? Well, as this coal welcomes me here, I'm going to walk down and give you some perspective of this archway, this entrance. Look at the size of this. It's nearly touching my shoulders. It's nearly touching each side of my body. It's that narrow. And then you've got maybe a passing area here, or whatever it is. Maybe there was some standing statues or something there. Then we come out at the far end. How incredible. It's a very unusual building. And here would have been, yes indeed, this is what they've referred to in the description of the place as an Ubosot, because we have the Sema Stones lining the outside. We've got pairs of Sema Stones here. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 laterite Sema Stones. Wow. For anybody that's not familiar with what laterite is, let me just show you up close. Laterite is this compound of volcanically produced mixture of stuff. And in here you can see rounded stones which would have been in a riverbed at some time, and other aggregates, but it's all this like aerated stone. Amazing. What's going on with them paired up like this? Wow. What a revelation. How lovely is that? A 16 Sema Stone Ubosot. Fascinating. And then we come over here and we've got something different again, which is said to be a north-south facing building, and it's very different indeed. You've got these square things over here that would have done what? Obviously there's some restoration gone on here. This has been restored, but these pillars represent what? What would these pillars have held up? And a very square base. One would think to have a Buddha image on top. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And then over here there's what looks to be an entrance way, stepway up, but a processional area around this Buddha. Well, what a fascinating walkabout this is. I'm really impressed with the amount of architecture that we can see above ground, and it is really astonishing to see so much easily within walking distance from the car. When you drive through Wiang Tha Kan, you don't see very much, and if you turn left or right, you've got all these little places that are tucked away. It's very, very accessible. Let's find some shade and have a read of what that little brochure said. Okay, so the brochure that I scanned and had a look at the text there says Group 3 is located southwest of the city and is called Wat Ton Pho group because it's believed that there is a Bodhi tree that King Mengrai ordered to be planted in this area. There are 4 mounds and ancient sites scattered together. Inside the temple there is a base of a temple and the main chedi with a gate arch and a wall surrounding it. The architecture of the Wat Ton Pho group is classified as Lana art from around 19th to 22nd century, so therefore that's 12 to 15 AD. I think you can agree with me how fascinating walking around these old places is, to see the architecture above ground, to see the variety here. When one looks back at Wiang Tha Kan and looks at the various things that have been reconstructed there, and maybe some of the old stuff that was above ground or was not demolished over time, maybe some of that would have looked like this, or vice versa. It's not clear when you come to a place as to how much has been reconstructed, but when you look around here, the brickwork looks fairly consistent. There's not a lot of inconsistency, as in it doesn't look small brick, big brick. There's not a lot of concrete, as in slabs laid out like you have at some of the places in Wiang Tha Kan. But here at Wiang Tha Kan, I'm really pleased to be walking amongst all of these. And today I've done these few in the walk around, and it's made me want to look at more. I think apparently there were 27, and on the list that one can see in the little brochure, it lists about 11. And already when you look at Google Map and when you drive along the road and you think, oh, that's not on the list, there are so many here to see. So I'm going to be doing far more than I originally thought I would be doing, because there is so much more here to see, and hopefully I can bring that to you and you'll enjoy walking around visiting them with me. So thanks very much for joining me here today, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed my visits here. Take care. See you. Bye bye.